Hi, I'm Shane with the Drum Center of Portsmouth in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. We are on the web at drumcenternh.com, and today we have a special recipe that we have cooked up for you. This is the DW Collector Series Custom Profile Snare Drum. Now, what is a custom profile snare drum, you ask? Well, it's kind of a bit of a story. I like the sound of DW wood snare drums. I've never fallen in love with the sound of DW wood snare drums. I've heard a few here and there that made me go, wow, that sounds really great, but I've never really connected with it. Now, obviously, I'm in the minority because a lot of people love those snare drums, and great for them. That's awesome, but I've just not found a home with one personally. I've always wanted to hear something different. So I always just assumed, okay, well, that's fine. I don't need to play DW snare drums. There's other snare drums out there. But there's always that thing about me that eventually kind of takes over where I'm like, well, what if we try this and what if we try that? And so some time ago, there was a conversation. That conversation entailed what I wanted to have in a DW snare drum. Just certain things to give it that little something that I like in a snare drum. So our hope is that you like it too and that you go, oh, okay, well, this is what I like too. So what makes this snare drum so much different than a regular collector snare drum? Well, we'll start with the shell. The shell is a 7-ply straight wall shell, so there's no reinforcement rings, and there's also no lacquer on the inside as well. It's just an oil finish on the inside. There are slightly deeper snare beds on the bottom than the standard collector series snare drum. We also opted to go with 8 lugs instead of 10, and we chose to not have the gaskets. And we also wanted to have the mini mag throw off as opposed to the regular mag throw off.
Also, it has 30 strand wires instead of 20.
So these are all small little details, but they sort of add up to make the sound that we want. To describe the sound that I'm looking for is that when I go to a higher tuning, I want that bottom end. I want to be able to have that low thing happening as opposed to where it's cranked up and it's just like ping, ping, ping. I want some bottom there too, because that really translates out in the front of the house when you're listening to something live. Otherwise, I always liken it to taking a wet rag and slapping it on a countertop where it's just this sound. I want to have a little bit more of a body to the tone. That's the best DW snare I've ever. Well, it's my favorite DW snare that I've ever played. That's what I want to hear in a wood snare drum. Like the bottom end just coming out at a high tuning. Killer. What is so great about this project is that DW was very receptive to this concept. They could have said, no, this is how we make snare drums. You don't like it? Tough. But no, they absolutely did it, and I think that is so cool that they allowed us to experiment like this, and I think the end result is awesome. I love the sound of this drum. What we want to do is compare the two so you can hear the difference and decide which one you prefer. The drums that we're featuring today, they're the DW Performance Series, just the bass drum and the floor tom, which will be featured in another video. And the cymbals are the brand new Meinl Pure Alloy Customs. So we have the 15-inch hi-hats and the 22-inch ride and the 18-inch crash. These are sounding pretty nice.
These are very nice.
We are really wanting to know what you feel about the difference between these two drums. So please leave your comments below so we can take the temperature and see how we did here. The links to buy these drums and cymbals are in the description below. I want that bottom end. So taking a wet rag and slapping it on a countertop where it's just this.
I want that bottom end.